All right, everybody. Hello. Hey, Kath. How are
Hey
you?
there. Hey, Leslie. Always so great to be here.
All right. So good to see you.
Likewise.
All right. So happy Thursday, everybody. Great to be here with you all. And thanks for joining. I think you're going to really enjoy this conversation. So let me make sure we are live. Yep. Okay. We are good to go. We're live on Instagram and all the places, which is what we want. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Leslie Bytel, and today I'm so excited to be joined by Kathy Lowe. And I've known Kathy for a really long time. She is amazing, and I'm very much looking forward to sharing her with you today. Kathy is a meta ads expert and the powerhouse behind Kathy Lowe Knows.
I
And
know.
I love that name. So here's the deal, guys. If you are finding yourself just kind of sick and tired of an email list that's filled with leads who just don't seem to buy, you are definitely in the right place. So Kathy is here to share exactly how we can utilize Facebook as well as Instagram ads, i.e. Meta, to help us to attract the right kind of leads, the ones that actually convert into paying clients. That's what we're after. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. So Kathy, welcome.
Hello. It's so good to be here. I love everyone in your community. And so I'm always
Yay.
eager to help.
All right. So give us a little background. So first of all, Kathy's in California. You're in Napa now, right?
I'm in Napa. Yep.
Amazing.
Uh,
And just give us, the quick version of your journey.
my
How,
journey. My journey.
yeah, how
So I
did you
was
land in the space of helping people with meta ads?
Okay, so to back up, I started my journey in corporate. I did marketing and brand management and learned advertising. I like to say the madman way, where we had an agency and they presented us copy
Yeah,
and
I
boards and
remember
we
those
filmed
days.
commercials. Yeah, I mean, like really learned the nuts and bolts of, I guess, what you call traditional Madison Avenue advertising. And from there, I always wanted to live in California. So I moved to California. I worked in, again, packaged goods, and I had the opportunity to work in tech. And I worked at a search engine, and I always had this dream that I wanted to do something on my own, and I wanted to be creative, just like many of us. We want to have our private practice or be solo entrepreneurs. So I started a jewelry design business. I was a jewelry designer, and kind of my spare time. And I expanded that. I had 6 team members. I was in close to 1,000 stores. And at the time, e-commerce was like this burgeoning thing. And so given my tech background, it was pretty easy for me to set up an e-commerce site. I started using Google ads, and Facebook ads were in their infancy. I like to think I could be one of the first advertisers, and I was really successful at it. And Google ads I was successful at. And when those started burning out, I transitioned to Facebook ads, and those significantly grew my business. And I got to the point where, again, I wanted to be on my own. I didn't want to be burdened by inventory and a big team and having to go to work every day. I'd kind of seen this like nomadic lifestyle, or this, work from the laptop lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I transitioned into consulting, and I noticed very quickly there was a big need for online ads, especially Facebook ads. And that was something like I knew, I love advertising. I know it like the back of my hand. And then I knew, Facebook ads. And so I transitioned into helping people with those. And one thing that I've noticed consistently is that, everybody wants the sale. Right? You set up your shop and you want to start advertising your services and your products, and you want to sell. And what was missing is that you have to do the foundational work. You really have to build an audience. You have to generate that knowledge of who you are and be able to speak about what you do in a way that it makes it easy for someone to say yes. And so that's why I really focus on list building and audience building, because if you do it right, the sale's actually pretty easy. And when the sale's hard, it's because the work hasn't been done to educate and whatever words you want to use, romance or make someone feel comfortable buying from you. So I often think about it as like an analogy of like dating, or everyone wants to get married, but you very rarely do people get married like the first time they meet someone. So there's that. Or going to college, if you have babies, ultimately you want them to go to college, but they can't apply to college when right? They have to go through that whole long process of learning how to be an adult, a human, reading, writing, math, etc. So that's what list building is.
Okay. So what about, let's start with our practitioners that maybe don't fully, they're not on board yet with the importance of list building. Okay. So, like perhaps they've heard it's important, but and I can relate to this. I can 100% relate. When I first started my nutrition practice many years ago, I really did not fully embrace the importance initially. And it is something that if I were to go back in time, that is definitely the thing I would change, is like, I'd be all over it right from the get-go. But what would you say to our practitioners listening who maybe are not yet quite there in terms of embracing email list building?
Yeah. So what I would think about it is maybe think a little bit broader about it, because I think, think of it as your network or the available people who know about you and your services. Because I mean, very rarely will someone buy the first time they meet you. And so, they need to see you, they need to follow up with you, they need to really understand that you can solve their problems, or maybe their problems aren't big enough yet. So even think about if you went to a networking event and you met a few individuals who are interested, but they weren't ready to buy right there. Like they said, call me tomorrow, or call me next week. That's a list. That's an audience. That's people who've, so even that small sector of people. And as the more people who know you, the more people who could buy. Like I like to say, big businesses have big lists.
Yeah.
It's just a truism. And so you're just never going to be able to really build your business or your practice if you don't have an audience of people who know about you. Now, you may have 100% hit rate, like every single person who you meet will buy from you. Let's say that's 20 people. You have a list of 20 people. Like those are people, maybe they'll just keep repeating and you'll have them for years and you never have to go out and market your services or advertise. Like, great. But you still have an audience. Even the people in your practice is your audience, because they can tell other people about you. So fundamentally, you need an audience.
I would just add maybe one thing to that, Kathy, and that is, there's a statistic out there, and I want to say it's something like 94% of people that land on your website are not ready to buy.
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
not ready to pull the trigger, right?
Absolutely. And
they're in that shopping, kind of checking things out phase.
Exactly.
And so really what you want to do is capture the lead so that you have a chance to nurture that lead along.
Exactly. And you're exactly right. Like, think of how many times, even in your own life, you hit a website, you see something on Instagram, you see someone mention something on TikTok, you see something, you're out with friends and someone mentions something, and then it slips your mind because you're so busy, but you never go back to it. But what if if that person could magically reach out to you? And that's what building an email list is, that you have the ability to a second, third, fourth chance. And with an email list, you always have that. But it's absolutely true. Life just gets away from us and we don't remember everything and so, yeah.
So let's go in. So hopefully we've made a good case.
Yes, exactly. You need to have a list. Like, there's just no way around it.
So far as to say, regardless of the type of business you have, right? So
absolutely,
regardless, your email list is gold. And these are the people that you can develop into, paying customers, move them into your, membership, whatever it is, right? But it gives us as business owners a chance to develop that all important know, like, and trust.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the
Because
only
we
way you
send
can do it.
newsletters, right? And like things like that to really grow that sense of trust, right, Kathy?
Absolutely. Grow that sense of trust, awareness of what you do, because
Mhm.
at some point that person is going to need you.
Yep. And you want to be front and center when they decide to pull the trigger.
Right.
So let's talk about maybe some of the mistakes. So we're here to talk about how to utilize Meta,
Right.
Instagram, and Facebook ads to help you to grow your email list. So let's hone in maybe first on some of the mistakes that you see.
Okay, so I think some of the mistakes I see is one that people don't use paid ads to grow their email list. That I see that they try and do it organically, or they're somehow afraid that ads are bad.
Mm,
And really, ads are gas. Like, it makes the car go.
yep.
So, if you've got anyway, so I think that's the biggest mistake is not using is one, not taking list building, as you mentioned, not taking list building seriously
Yep.
early enough. Yeah, that's the first. The second is not utilizing paid ads because you're totally in control of what you do with paid ads. You're not at
Mm,
the whim of somebody sharing something or organic reach or the algorithms. So I think that's the biggest one. I think the third one, and speaks to why I'm here, is lead quality. Is really just going for the cheapest leads. Like, obviously, it's good to have, but you also want to be mindful that those leads that you're getting, not only are they at a good cost, but you're already starting the sales process and the nurturing process and the purchase process from the very beginning with that first if you use using those ads.
okay. Okay. So the whole idea is, well, and I'm sure you're going to talk more about like what the ads are pointing to, like
Right,
what is our, call to action on those ads.
right,
But the whole idea is to really start to attract hopefully serious buyers versus something that is quite concerning out there, and I do hear a lot of people talking about this,
yeah.
is the like what we would call the freebie seekers. So can you speak to the difference? Some people in our audience may not know what we mean by freebie seekers.
Right, right. So the most, I guess the simplest way to build your email list is to offer something quote unquote free in
Mhm,
return for someone's contact information. And most commonly, that's their name and their email address.
mhm,
And then often you want to give, and there's a lot of different names from it, but some kind of free gift. It can be called a freebie.
yep,
It's also called a lead magnet because you're attracting leads. It could also be the first step in the sales process but something to introduce you and your services.
mhm.
And just like anything, there's a lot of people out there who just go out and collect a lot of free information and never take the second step. And I'll say that there is responsibility on both sides. So,
Okay.
yes, there's serious buyers out there. We all want to attract the serious buyers. And yes, there's people who will never, never, ever, ever buy, but there's a whole landscape in the middle. And I think our responsibility as practitioners, as business people, as service providers is to move those people from just, I guess, the looky loos into being a serious buyer.
Okay.
Right, and you can relate to it your own experience, like you're out shopping, you're kinda looking for something, but not really, and then something catches your eye or something lands on you, whether it's a message, it's an image, and that you just click and you're like, "I gotta have it." And so that's what we're trying to recreate that experience, create that experience in
Mhm.
our advertising, in the offer that we make, and in the follow-up that we do.
Okay. So just to kind of wrap up that concept,
Uh-huh.
how do you then attract buyers and not just the freebie seekers with your ads? Are there specific strategies that you can implement? Are
Yeah,
you
and so
good at Meta?
right, right. So I think first of all is like I think of it like as a three-step process, which is, the people, the promise, and then the
Yeah.
path. So the
Okay.
first part we start with is the people. Who are we targeting? So we need to make sure we're targeting the right people, because you can get, I mean, you can get really cheap leads, and you can get a million leads if you're targeting like people in India. And so because they're known as freebie seekers. So obviously we want to, and I think most people won't make that mistake, but depending on who you work with, it can happen. So you really want to be cognizant of the people, really know, or at least be open to learning about the people. Because sometimes we think we have an idea in our head of who is the right target for us. And over time, you can learn that no, in fact, it's someone else, or someone with a different set of attributes. So really understanding and being open to learning who that person is. The second is what we call the promise, and that's the lead magnet or the offer. And a lot of times you hear just give value, give value, give value, because somebody then will see it. Well, you're kind of hoping that the people out there are sifting through, and when they find the right value, then they're going to be open. But if you can really think through, what's something that I can offer, like for instance, what's a quick win I can offer, or an insight or an understanding that I can offer through this lead magnet or this piece of content that will move someone a little bit further along the line of that customer journey, or along that line of, oh my gosh, I have to have it.
Okay.
So that's your promise. And then the next part is the path. And that's where I think, back to what are the biggest mistakes that people make, is that they get a lot of leads, they attract them with great content, and then we don't do anything with it after. And that's the nurturing sequence. And how are you following up with those people? And most commonly, somebody sees an ad, or they see your offer for a lead magnet, a freebie, a piece of content. They sign up, they get on their list, they get it. You send them a welcome email. Here it is. And then there's not a lot as much thought put into, like, how are you building that relationship, starting with that first welcome email. And then how are you moving them along? Is it a series of emails? Do you invite them on a call with you? Do you offer workshops? I mean, there's the gamut, and it needs to be tailored for, I think, each individual in terms of what their talents are, what they're offering, and what their audience needs.
Okay.
And
All right. So the 3 Ps.
The 3 Ps, yeah. And I think you're starting to seed it with, your ads and what you say in your ads and your welcome email, but really it's on the back end where you're nurturing your audience. And I think a lot, I work with people who they're getting a lot of leads, they're sending out their welcome emails, they're sending out even nurture series, and they're not getting any sales. And they're like, well, these leads suck. And as one of my colleagues says, it's like, no, you suck. You need to he's a bit blunt, but he's like, either the offer that you're making isn't what they want,
Okay.
or you're not building that know, like, and trust. And I promise you, if you spend enough time trying to figure this out, you will solve it. Because everyone listening here is solving a known problem. There's no one here that's trying to, I'm sure, they're not trying to, fly a plane to the moon or do something crazy. Yeah. They're solving a known problem. And you have to do the hard work, and sorry, I'm going to say it, to figure out how to move people that don't know you to the place where they trust you and they want to buy your programs.
Okay. All right.
It's just experimentation.
It's wild. So even people that are doing, like, nurture sequences. Okay. So anyway, so Danielle, Kathy is spot on.
Yeah. I mean, it's, we all want to hear the beautiful, like, oh, just like buy this ad and send this email and copy this GPT prompt, and people will rain down on you. And they could, I mean, that does happen, but often it's people who really know their audience and really open to the experimentation and the testing.
Okay. So tell us about the testing. Like what, just tell us a little bit more about what that looks like and what we can learn from it.
So there's a couple ways you can test. One is that you're just testing different iterations and you're seeing what people respond to. Something that I do is I do a lot of click testing behind the scenes with Facebook ads. understanding like all the elements of an ad, the headline, the image, the underlying promise, the lead magnet that we're going to offer. And then we can also do that kind of testing with, subject lines, headlines, and then we can test landing pages. So when somebody opts in to get your lead magnet, they're on a landing page. And then when there's a thank you, that's another landing page. And you can be testing those pages. That's a little bit more advanced, but you can be testing those pages to understand where you're getting more interest and more behavior that you want.
Okay. So it's like a split test.
You can do that. Yeah, there's software that allow you to split test.
Okay. Super cool. So what would you say, what makes a freebie or a lead magnet actually convert into sales later on then?
I think one that converts is one that positions you as a leader, as an expert. So having that confidence that people see you as an expert, something that gives them either a quick win or an insight or an understanding that takes them along that sales path, that puts them in a position so that you're able to and then something that gives them a preview of ultimately what you have. So that maybe they're not ready to buy, but they understand what you, and you don't necessarily have to like say, ultimately be in my mastermind or here's my coaching package, but you're giving a preview of what possibility looks like.
Oh, okay. So what life could look like
exactly
after
what the future
problems
is. Yeah.
That the coach solves.
Exactly.
So like their future self, right?
Exactly. And a lot of times the coach themselves model it, right? I had all these IBS, whether it's with they do it maybe even unknowingly. I had this problem, nobody could help me, so I went on this journey. And you could ultimately be me. But but giving some kind of preview that there is a possibility out there.
So one thing I heard you say is you're giving them like a preview. And I also heard you say a quick win.
Right.
Versus what? Like what, like a 50-page book on like how to completely solve the problem.
Right. You definitely don't want to give away the store initially, right? Because you want people to have a reason and an interest to continue to follow you. And two, people have short attention spans. So unless they really trust you, they're probably not going to, dive deep into. So you want something that people feel like, oh my God, this person has authority. They know what they're talking about. Look, they gave me this little win. What could happen if I work with them or I pay them? So, and then again, you want it to be like kind of on this path of where you're going to take them. And that can take some experimentation because, you personally may think, hey, someone can go from A to B very easily, but really maybe what they want to go is from F to G. And so that, and again, that it's hard to know, like brainstorming and asking your friends, you really just have to get out in the field and do the work and see where people convert and how they convert and what messages and offers are resonating.
Okay. Let me ask you just something kind of off the cuff. Why do you think some people don't do Facebook ads? Is it the cost? Is it not knowing how to set it up, like the tech? What do you think? What holds people back?
I think, so I'm going to make one guess. I definitely think it's intimidating. Okay. So I definitely think it's intimidating. I think people are afraid of wasting money.
Okay.
Right. Because if they don't do it right. I think there's also, and I'm curious what you think. I think that there's this kind of like this it's bad to advertise, or it's bad. If I have to advertise, it's bad. Because often I was thinking about this the other day is like people will brag, well, I built my business with no ads. Well, so what? I mean, whether you see an ad, when you see a post organically or it's paid for, somebody was interested and they converted, right? So, but I think with Facebook ads, I think people are just really somewhat intimidated because it is complicated. And tedious to manage them. But also I think people are just afraid of losing money. And what if it doesn't work?
Okay.
what have
Now,
I gained?
can you speak a little bit? And I know we want to dig deeper into what we were just talking about. So it's a little diversion. Bear with me, guys.
Okay, it's okay.
But what can it cost? I know it can cost a lot, right? Like,
Oh, right. Or it can cost a
like,
little.
but
I mean,
yeah, give
that's
me
a great question.
yeah,
So
I just want to get a better sense for our
So
audience.
this is what I tell you. I can work with very small. Some of my clients are very small. They're just starting
Mhm.
out. We can start with $10. So with Facebook, you can set a budget. And
Yep.
so we start with $10 a day.
Okay.
And the good thing about list building, at least for me, is like I figured out how to list build. I can take any business and figure out how to get them leads through ads.
Mhm.
And then so you actually can be building something because you're building that email list. And at the same time, you're figuring out how to nurture those leads and how to convert those leads.
Okay.
So, I mean,
There's a huge range. So,
yeah,
but I think
and
one of the takeaways that I'm hearing
yeah.
is we can run ads for $10 a day,
Oh, yeah. You could start
right?
out really small. That was the boon that online ads gave us, is that anyone can run ads.
Yeah.
Because previously, not anyone could buy a billboard or buy a
Uh-huh.
radio spot or a
Right.
TV spot. But you, as putting your shingle out as a solo, I have a small team, but I work essentially by myself. I can put ads out for very little. I can shut them off easily. I mean, all you need is a credit card.
Yep. Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. And how long have you been doing my ads, Kathy?
God,
Ah,
has it been like 10 years
10
now?
years, I think.
I
Yeah.
think you're
So
right. We've
I
been
just
running them. We
I
built
just want everyone
a
to know.
machine.
So we what do they say? We walk the talk, right?
Yeah.
So, and I can say I have a very sizable list at this point, and
Yeah.
I nurture it. It it is my gold, right? And
Right.
I am maybe a little borderline obsessed with growing it. Like I participate in doing other things as well. But quite often we run ads to the events that I'm participating in order to get, spread the word and get people in,
Right. I mean,
very
you're a
successfully.
great example is, you run ads, but you also do talks. You're members of um, industry organizations. And so you're using all different tactics to grow
Mhm.
your list. And all that helps you strengthen your skills in nurturing that list. And we
Right.
know that, and the other thing is we know that sometimes someone will join your list from wherever, and maybe it takes them a couple years before they
Yes.
convert. Some people will convert right away, and some people it just takes time.
Yep.
And so when
Yep.
you're constantly feeding that, it's fine. And so, like, I'm always a fan back to this case of like, you can start really small is like always be list building, list build every day. It's just
It
part
is.
of
It's
the
that
daily.
important.
It's like brushing your teeth versus like, okay, I'm gonna have a launch. I need to
Oh
build,
my gosh, don't
or I'm
do that.
launching a book.
Yeah, it really, highly recommend, and I know there's some technical reasons why it's better this way, but I would
yeah, and it helps
it
the algorithms,
does, like all the
yeah.
algorithm, right. But we run ads year round.
Yeah. But you can be list building. I mean, I'm a fan, really I'm a fan of like building an audience. And I think the email is the primary audience.
It
But
is.
you can be building your list like if you go to a networking event and you take people's cards, like, or I guess people don't have cards anymore, but you get their contact information and, or if you meet someone who's interested, you add them to your list.
Yeah.
I methe ads is just this great way to do it because you can control your message, you can control who sees it, and you control the velocity.
Mhm. So let's go back to the original topic. So I do want to hone in on what we call a landing page.
Okay.
And just if you could clarify for our audience because there's different lingo for these things.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Number one, just clarify what we mean by a landing page. And then how important is it in this?
So your landing page is So here's the deal. Your landing page is super important, but don't panic about it. So we
Okay.
call the landing page. So if you have an ad and the ad says, "Hi, Leslie, you want to learn how to grow your practice? I can teach you in 5 steps." You click on that ad,
Mhm.
and that ad traditionally will take you to a landing page.
Okay.
And then the landing page will, reiterate the offer and ask for your contact information. And that landing page is super important because that's where the conversion happens. And then there's a thank you page, and that's another opportunity to continue to warm up your potential client and even offer something else.
Okay.
But in the early days, when you're just learning to walk, that can be a tall order to have that landing page. One
Yeah.
for technical reasons, financial reasons, and then even figuring out how to get it convert. So what I like to do is Facebook has this element in it, or it's a type of ad. It's called a lead ad.
Hmm.
And the landing page and the thank you page are built into the ad. So in the beginning, all we're really focusing on is what's that offer that's going to make them convert, and what's
Mhm.
the language in the ad, what's the image. And then over time, we can go to a point where we have the landing page and the thank you page.
Okay. Actually, I just pulled up an example. Let's see if I can figure this out. Share screen. Hang on one second, guys. Okay. Oh, okay. It wasn't that hard. All right. So, guys, this is an example of like a landing page that, frankly, is quite a bit more. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's a little more involved, right? Because this is a WordPress page.
Right.
And I'm not a real techie kind of gal, so I hired someone to create this page for me. But just so
Right.
you know what we're talking about, this is a typical landing page where the whole idea is, you're promoting in this case, a freebie. And this
Right.
is an ebook that I wrote, how to overcome common objections like I can't afford it. And you see a little picture of the ebook you get, and you fill in your name and email, and you click yes, I'm in. And then you'll see a pop-up that says, yay, here you go. Here's your thing that you just
Right.
requested. And then you're added to my email list.
Exactly.
You'll also get the thing
Right.
delivered to you in an email. And then so the whole idea is, my job then is to nurture and develop that know, like, and trust through my
Right.
content, through my lives, through, all these through my newsletter, through the other things that I do. So what Kathy is saying, I think, Kathy, is that this can be a heavy lift if you're brand new.
Right.
And I would say if you don't have the tech skills, and maybe, money's a little tight and you don't want to hire someone. So what's the alternative?
Yeah, so I absolutely agree. So it could be the tech skills, the money's tight, you don't want to hire someone, and it may not be smart to hire someone, right? You really want to focus on getting a few clients in the door first. And then also you may not have the skills, like that language that's on that page is well honed because you've been in business for a while. You know what to say, like inherently how to do that. So the alternative is what Facebook calls lead ads.
Okay.
And these lead ads actually have a version of a sign up page. They have the sign up form within the ad.
Okay.
And so you don't have to build those landing pages. And so it's all within the form. Meta collects the name and the email for you, and then you're able to sync it or manually add it to your email list.
Okay.
And
So it does require, is that like a kind of a tech challenge, or is that easy to do?
It's pretty, I mean, for my clients, I do it for them. So I
Okay.
run it. It's part of the service I
Right.
offer but it's pretty easy if you don't want to do that, you can manually upload it into your
Okay.
list every day. And then there are people out there who it's a much easier lift than building a landing page to find
Okay.
someone to set up. I use Zapier, but there's some other services.
Okay.
But I love to do that when my clients are starting out and it's too much to ask for a landing page. I also run into clients who have terrible landing pages and it's just never going to convert. I can tell from the get-go it's not going to convert. And so I run I run these until we can get to a point where we could either change the landing page or get a landing page that will convert.
Okay. Do you happen to have anything that you can share, like one of mine, or no? I know it's okay if you don't.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a little complicated.
All right. Yeah.
But,
Gotcha. Yeah. I think the takeaway, at least that I'm getting here, is that you don't have to invest and get stressed out about creating a beautiful landing page.
Right, exactly. Facebook knows.
So Facebook integrated this element into their ads, and it's a specific kind of ad, though, right?
It's a specific kind of ad. And yes, they integrated it because they try and remove all barriers to ads, obviously, because their business is selling ads. So they make it easy. The other thing is that it keeps people on the Facebook platform because they enter all their information, and Facebook is obviously invested in that. And they work on Facebook and Instagram. I say Facebook, but it's Facebook and Instagram.
Oh.
So somebody can be on Instagram and see this offer. They can sign up in Instagram, and it says thank you, and they're still in their feed.
Okay. So on the back end then of Meta, when you're setting up these ads, how do you decide like how much you're going to spend on Insta versus Facebook? Like, how does that work?
So what I do is I let the algorithm find it. So, and because a lot of, I definitely will have clients who say, all my clients are on Insta. And I'm like, if that's the case, Meta's going to deliver all your ads to Insta. And they do, so let them find the people who are most likely. And then if you still, if you're still like, no, I just want people from Insta, there's a couple things you can do. You can just run your ads just on Insta, or if you think everybody's on Facebook, or you could split test it and run, half your ad budget on Facebook, half it on Insta, and see what the results are.
Okay. All right. So, what I'm wondering, so a few kind of off the cuff questions, more.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
This is the bonus lightning round.
Lightning round.
Lightning round.
All right. So we always hear about, making money in our sleep. Like we all want that. I think I might have said that yesterday.
I say that every day. That is everyone's dream.
Does anyone not want that? I kind of doubt.
I have not met anyone that says, early, I just want to make money. I want to like knock on doors. Yeah. Everyone wants to make money in their sleep.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about sales funnels. I know again, a little bit of a diversion, but
let's chat.
So how would one go about setting up, like I always hear about these 3-step sales funnels, right?
Okay.
Like the first step is free, maybe. And I do want to ask you, should the first step still be free? Because I'm seeing a lot of people charging for that, first step. Like, let's say I'm doing a 3-day challenge.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah.
And I'm showing up live. I'm trying to grow my audience, get more people to participate. And years past, 100% free, right?
Right.
But now there's this kind of, I don't know if it's an emerging philosophy where, hey, it might make sense to even charge a nominal fee because of the philosophy. I think it's 11 times more likely that someone will continue to buy from you once they've done so, right? So first speak to, should step 1 be free, or should we charge even $5 or $3 for something?
Great question. And here's the thing. It's different for everyone. So if you're brand new, I probably wouldn't charge unless it's just like some outrageous offer, right?
Okay.
But you don't know until you test it.
Okay.
For someone that's established like you, it might make sense when you do it, to charge. I mean, you likely will limit your audience of who's going to participate, but to your point, maybe they're better participants. You've knocked out all the people who probably wouldn't buy anyway.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a risk to it when you charge, because there's definitely people who may, hey, look, I want to know that person before I participate, or they're just not. I mean, now it's so much easier to buy online too, right? Versus
it is. Oh my gosh. You don't
even
have
charge. $5
to get your credit card anymore, right?
You don't have, right? It's already there. So that, I mean, because that was always a hurdle. It's like, well,
It
I want
was.
to participate, but I don't feel like getting my car, or I'm on my phone and where my,
I don't
right?
want.
So especially if it's nominal, maybe, you charge $1
Okay.
and at least you
Interesting.
get some funds. I mean, I always say it's a
It's
great
not gonna pay
idea.
the mortgage.
It's
Let's be clear.
always probably not, but
It's probably, unless you
you
don't have.
hear stories, right? I don't want to like rain on anyone's parade. What I always say is try it, test it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's like the monkey who lives forever. They'll eventually type the Library of Books of the Congress. Same thing. You'll figure out how to sell your products, whatever. But if you're open to that experimentation, you're just willing to keep failing
Okay.
and keep trying. But yes, I mean, I think that I have seen a lot more like webinars, challenges that are pay to play,
Yeah.
and like they have their advantages. I do think when you're new, I think it's really good to start out with something free. I really think that just gives you the widest aperture. But over time, you may either decide to charge for that, or you may, and this gets back to these landing pages, when
Yeah.
you have this thank you page, you could offer something after your freebie that's we call a low cost offer.
Okay.
That's
Yeah. So now we're moving into a funnel discussion,
right.
right?
Well, just getting your email list, that's a funnel, right?
Okay.
It's an ad, you're making an offer, it's free.
You're right.
So all you're asking for is contact information, and then the next step on that landing page after that, they sign up, and then there's a thank you page. Great time. Someone's new. They're obviously interested. To ask them something else. So there's two things you can ask them for. You can ask them for time, or you can ask them for money. So time would be book a call.
Okay.
Watch a webinar. Those are the two most common.
Okay.
Right. Well, watch something, some webinar, masterclass, workshop, what have you. And then from there, commonly, or the traditional funnels is that you offer something at the end of that experience, whether it's a program. I mean, you could do a book a call then, like book a call to learn more about my, coaching coaching opportunities. So those are traditional, or you can offer a paid DIY, like, obviously money in your sleep. You'd want something that's all completely DIY.
Okay. Is there any psychology to the price differentials between steps?
Well, a lot of things that like seem like logically is like, if you give a freebie, then maybe the first offer is like single digits or double digits and then triple digits. I mean, I think most people feel like you probably can get a pretty good conversion rate on a triple digit item, up to 1,000 with a webinar. And then anything above that, you probably need some kind of touch point, whether it's book, needed to talk to. I mean, you can speak to it because of like you've got a lot of experience with it.
I usually say, honestly, probably if it's more than $500, they're going to want to talk to you.
They're going to want to talk to you.
I'm just, to make sure it's a good fit and things like that. Most of the
time. Buyers, right? But there are people out there. I mean, we've seen it like who do these huge launches and have a lot of people convert at like 2,000 to 3,000. And I think that speaks to their ability to position themselves as a leader. They've likely been nurturing their list for a really long time without you even realizing it. And then they also have that halo effect of there's a lot of affiliates promoting it. And then there's just a lot of people who, they've got a lot of testimonials from people who participated in that programs. And so, that adds.
There's a lot of variables.
There's a lot of support around this know, like, and trust. Like that's all happening in these ways you may not until you really look under the hood and really unpeel it and really see what's going on. There's a lot of those, like know, like, and trust is what it actually is, but it's a lot going on that you may not even be cognizant of it.
So let's dig in just one more layer deep.
Okay.
So what does happen, or ideally what happens when someone opts in and grabs, I guess, the freebie
Right.
freebie or maybe super low cost,
Like a
right?
low cost, like $7,
Yeah.
$5.
So how do you keep that momentum going so that at the, the other end of the spectrum, we're preparing the person to buy?
Yeah. So I think it's really that consistency and nurturing. So they've
Okay.
been added to your list. And so you want to continue that communication with them. And that's where you're experimenting is like, how soon do you make this offer? How soon do you offer a touch point, whether it's a clarity call, discovery call,
Okay.
an opportunity to work with you.
Okay.
And it really varies. And I think a lot of it also hinges on the personality. And back to this, like when I said, it was positioning yourself as a leader from the beginning, is that how much you can communicate that you're an expert and that you can solve a problem.
Okay. Interesting. So let's talk about our people here today
Okay.
who maybe have tried ads before
Okay.
and got discouraged.
Okay.
And maybe they didn't get results. What would you suggest they do differently?
Well, I think it really depends on what you mean by a result. Like if they didn't get a sale off the bat, I'd say you really have to reframe it and look at ads as I really think the 90% of ads is building that audience. And then building that audience and using what I talked about in terms of like from the get-go, positioning yourself as a leader, offering your potential client the first step, the first win in what they're doing, and then having that follow-up, continuing to work with them and obviously not abusing it, but, continuing to work with them.
Okay.
And then also, what I always ask people when I first start working with them, even though they've hired me to ads, is like, what's working in your business right now? Where are you getting your clients from? And
Okay.
then, and looking at like how you can expand that and take those learnings to use that for ads.
Yeah. Do more of what works, right?
Yeah, exactly. And how can you use ads to scale that? Like, for instance, I've got someone that I'm going to be working with. And when I talked to her about like where your clients coming from, and she was telling me all these, there's these professional referral sources. So it's like,
Okay.
well, use that. Those are your people. But she wanted me to work with her to build her list. And it's like, well, let's use those people first to build our list with those people. Like, how can we do that? And how can we use ads while we're also then building a list of end users, if you will, or
Okay.
of clients.
So, Kathy, tell us a little bit about how you work with people. So, anyone in our audience today, is there anything, a little bit extra special that you can provide?
Yeah. So what I do, like I said,
here,
I can guarantee you I can build your list. I can't
okay.
guarantee you I can get sales, but I can guarantee you I can build your list. And so the way I like to work with my clients is that two things. One, I help them set up the mechanics so they can be in a place to successfully ad build or
Okay.
list build. But secondarily, what I can do, it's a different service, is we talked about the importance of setting that first step, that lead magnet. I can help them. It's a lot of testing on my end, but I can help them create that lead magnet and the elements of their landing page in order to get those conversions and set the first step for making the sale.
Okay. Great. So, anyone that's maybe interested in learning more about working with you, what do you suggest?
Yeah, if they want to reach out to me, I can have a conversation. I can talk specifically because every business is different. Every person is different. I wish I could just say,
No, that's what makes you great, though.
yeah. And I can take a look. Like I said, I look a little bit more, I look holistically at who you are and at your business and what's working versus just like shoving you in an ad campaign. And then make sure that what you're trying to do is a good fit for where you are.
Okay.
And then I give them a proposal. I mean, something fancy, but
Yeah.
how we work together. And
Okay.
but
And
most commonly,
let Kathy know that if you reach out to her, and I can include her email.
yeah, like that you found me, Leslie.
Yeah, and she'll
Give you
I don't know what she'll do, but she'll do something
love.
special.
Oh, of course. Well, I know what your philosophy is and how you.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, like I help them build their campaigns, and then I also help manage and optimize them ongoing, so that we're building, robust lists of buyers.
Okay. So I'm going to see, is this your email?
Yeah, that's good.
Awesome. Okay. So Kathy@kathylowe.com. So you can reach out to Kathy.
Yeah.
And she'll take really good care of you. I can attest. Like I said, I've been working with
Yeah,
Kathy.
no, we've been working together many launches.
And we have a lot of very exciting things coming up. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, Kathy and I are kind of moving into the phase of moving some products and programs into more of like an evergreen model.
Doing the
So
funnels.
really,
Yeah.
more of the strategic like sales funnels.
Right. And you're just a great example of like, you spent so many years building so many great assets, and you really know how to teach your clients how to build their practices and have six-figure businesses, have, courses themselves. And so now you're at that point where you've got a robust list, you've got robust assets, you really are an expert and a leader, and you can give that knowledge and expertise on demand.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. But it does take a team, guys. It takes a
village.
It takes a village. Like, I got left to my own devices. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. I needed a team. And I have an awesome team. I'm really, really blessed in that regard. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to what's to come, working with Kathy, and lots of, I think exciting things coming down the pike. So any final words of wisdom before we
my final word is start list building today. To your point, like it's all about your audience.
I really wish, like, honestly, looking back at my nutrition practice, so I ended up with a decent list, actually. Back then it was like 2,000 people, not bad for starting it. And like, literally, I think I got there in a year.
Okay. So that's really good.
It was pretty quick, but I would have, had I known and really understood the importance, I would have started it much sooner. Without a doubt. Like, without a doubt. Yeah. And I will also just mention that, back then, tech just was not as streamlined as it is now.
Right.
There were a lot of things that were just like, oh my God, I cannot even picture.
Right. Yeah.
Mind blowing. Like, just to figure out MailChimp, I remember, oh my God.
So hard.
Me. Okay. I am not a techie girl.
Right.
I was trying to figure out all the back end of MailChimp. And back then it was not super easy.
Right. Intuitive. Right?
So anyway, but fast forward, here we are today. But the thing is I learned, right? So when I started business, let me tell you, I had a one-page website. Do you remember that, Kathy?
Yeah.
Website.
But it was working.
And I did not spend oodles of money having like this perfect website. It was a one-pager. It had a banner and it looked good, right? And the messaging was on, but I got to tell you, what I did have is a kick-ass freebie.
Right. And that makes it.
So I started right out of the gate. Like, I didn't waste a single minute this time around. So yeah. So I just, I really want to hopefully inspire all of you.
Right. Beat that. Yeah. But it's true.
There's no time like the present. I'll just say that. So get going.
Never behind.
You're never behind. Just start where you are and get going, build that list, nurture. I would really, really urge everybody to send a newsletter.
Yeah.
I like weekly, but hey, monthly is a good place to start. Do what you can do, whatever you can commit to. Yeah. So, all right, guys. So, this was great, Kathy. So much fun.
Always.
Treat. Thank you for all of our participants today. It was great having you.
Yes.
I hope that you are inspired, right?
Yeah. Go out there. Always be building.
Always be building that email list every single day.
Every day.
Thinking about, how can I grow my list? How can I grow my list? And how can I nurture my list?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So they really do go hand in hand. You don't want a dead list.
No,
you know?
no. Don't.
That's not
Yeah.
going to help you.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yep.
grow the list and
Don't
nurture
go
the
to your
list, and you're going to be in great shape. All right,
Okay.
guys. All right. What a fun way to
Yeah.
spend this last hour. So thanks to everybody. Thank you, Kathy. And I will see you next week. All right, guys.
Okay.
Take care. Bye for
Bye.
now.